Okay, it's been about 5 minutes since I put this mug in front of the fan, and it's fairly dry. You should be able to carefully touch this and it not come off. It's better to wait too long than wait too little. Another thing at this point, you do not want to touch the edge, the top edge or the lip of your mug. That will come off easily, or the handle. Do not touch those two areas. Otherwise you'll run into problems. So from here on out, you're going to be holding it kind of like this. You want to grab just below the lip so you can hold it like this. And we're going to do the second half. So I've done this top half with 2 coats. Now I need to do this bottom half with 2 coats. For the bottom half, I'm going to start with light rust, and I'm going to do it different. On the top half I did light rust followed by metallic green. On the bottom half I'm going to do light rust followed by iron red, but I could do whatever I wanted to on this bottom part. It just needs to be at least 2 coats. Oh, and one exception is you cannot use blue ice on this bottom part of the mug because it's a very runny glaze, and if it runs it will stick to the kiln, so we got to make sure we don't put blue ice on that bottom half. So first step is to get my light rust. I'm going to mix it again. Mix it really well. Put that in the water to clean it off a little bit. Then I'm going to hold the mug, not on this top edge, but just below it, kind of like a claw. You're going to grab it kind of like a claw. And then I'm going to dunk it to that line or a little past that line. You don't want to miss it. You want to make sure if you leave a little edge in between, you will see the clay in between. Again, I'm going to do a two Mississippi once I go in there. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and then I'm out. And again, I'm holding it over the glaze bucket so the drips go right back in the bucket. When it seems pretty dry, I'll look at it and you can see I've made it right to that edge or a little past that edge, so I could overlap the green and that next one from the bottom if I wanted to. The bottom needs to be wiped off, so I'm just going to take my sponge that's somewhat dry and I'm just going to wipe the bottom off like that. And my name is on the bottom here. It's okay if glaze gets in those little grooves. I'm not worried about that. The other thing I want to do is I want to wipe up just a hair on the edges. You can see I wiped up just a hair on that bottom edge so that if it does run, if I didn't get a perfect 2 Mississippi count, it won't stick. It'll have a little bit of room to run if I overglaze it a little bit too much. So I always go up just a little bit on that bottom edge. You can see there's a little bit of room down there. So I have 1 coat on there. It's pretty dry. Now I need to do my second coat on the bottom. For my second coat, I'm just going to set this carefully right side up. I'm going to do the iron red. So I'll grab my iron red. Make sure my mixing stick is pretty clean. You don't want to contaminate the 2 glazes. Mix that up really well. I try and go both ways when I mix. Put it back in the bucket, and I'm ready for the bottom half again for my second coat. So I got it like this. I'm not touching that lip, I'm not touching the handle. I'm going to go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and right back out. I'm just letting it drip off. Any extra glaze should just drip back into the bucket. Once I feel like it's somewhat dry and not going to drip anymore, I'll take it over here. I can show you. I just went and I did my second coat on that bottom part. Then I'm going to take again a damp sponge, not soaking wet, and I'm just going to take a big sweeping motion and I can easily wipe off the bottom. I like to, when it goes onto the sponge, find a clean area of the sponge and then wipe the rest of it like that. Otherwise, you're just wiping the same glaze all over the place. And again, I'm going to clean up the edge so it goes a little bit of a line there on the edge, so it's not right to the bottom. You can see I'm just taking that and turning the mug on that sponge, just like that. So I have 2 coats here, 2 coats there. Now I'm going to go, and I have my 2 coats on the inside. That means it should be the right thickness of glaze. So this will go in the kiln and get fired.